name is Vivian. Welcome. Today we are going to talk about the Shadow and Bone Netflix show versus the book. I am not going to get into like what the book is about. We're just going to get right into it. All right, so we're going to talk about the world first. I really liked how Netflix showed more of the culture of the world. They showed the division between Ravka and the Fjordans. Shuhan, I feel like there wasn't much about Shuhan that they showed. They mostly talked about how the Shuhan people looked, because every time they were talking about Alina, they said she's half Shu. I just really liked how they showed the turmoil, what the people living in that world, what they're willing to do to survive and make it. It really gave context to the story, and it showed me what it was really like living in this world outside of Alina's perspective. I like how Netflix showed the clear division between each country, especially between Fjordans and the Grisha, who mostly lived in Ravka. But the Fjordans really hate the Grisha. The way the Fjordans talk about the Grisha, there is utter disgust and hate for them. It just gave a deeper understanding how the different races in the world interact with each other, how they feel about each other, the different beliefs they have about each other. And this is all outside of Alina's perspective, so our world view of the Grisha-verse expanded. The Kaz Gang. I believe the gang are from the Six of Crows. I think I read that somewhere, I'm not sure. When they were first introduced, I was like, who are these people? Like, why are they here? Like, what is this? But as the plot progressed, I kind of was like, oh, okay, you know. The gang, they represent like the society of people who are trying to survive and make it in this world, which I think was well done, because they're a gang. Gangs, you know, try to survive in a tumultuous world, which is what the Grishaverse is. I agree that for 1 million Kruga, they are going to figure out how to light a way through the shadow fold. They find out about the Sun Summoner and that the Sun Summoner is real, or there are rumors about it. They make plans to capture her. A goal to East Ravka, capture the Sun Summoner, and bring her to West Ravka, and then they'll get their 1 million Kruga. What I like about this subplot is that I think Netflix did a good job intertwining the subplot and the main plot. It didn't feel forced or out of place. Like I said, as the plot progressed, I was like, okay, this is pretty good that they added this to the main plot. It felt like the things that happened with the subplot, especially in the beginning, was a nice build up to the Winter Feet. The Winter Feet was where the two plots fused together, and it gave the plot more dimension. Just how the events progressed to that point, it just made sense. It didn't feel out of place. It was well done, in my opinion. I really liked the characters. I liked Kaz. He was so smart. I liked Jesper and his skills with the gun. And Inej too. She had great skills with like fighting with the knives. And also, like, she represented the people who had like a strong belief in the saints. In the book, they did talk about the religion and the belief in the saints, and they believe the Sun Summoner is a saint, but there wasn't really anyone to represent how that looked like. And I feel like Netflix did a good job with that for Inej. At the Winter Feet, when Alina demonstrated her power, in her face, you can tell that this woman will just drop everything and just devote her life to Alina. It felt like her belief was confirmed and her belief was validated. The love interest. Mal, I don't think his full name was in the book. Like, he said his full name in the show, and I was like, wait, huh? Is that really a thing? Maybe that's information the author gave the writers, but I was like, huh, that's different, I suppose. He's a fighter too. I was like, wait, what? He like beats up people, I guess? I thought he was a tracker. They didn't have to add that in there. They could have just, if they just took that out, it wouldn't have added or taken anything away from him. He would have just been Mal still. If you're in the army, I guess you do know how to fist fight. So I guess. In the show, I loved Mal and Alina's relationship. I loved it so much more than the book. Oops, but yeah. I like how they put Mal's perspective, because again, the book is just Alina's perspective. When Mal explains what happened before he found Alina, he was explaining them searching for the stag and all that stuff. But in the show, we got to see it in real time, and we got to see exactly how things went down. It showed that he was always devoted to Alina and that he actually really loves her and he'll do anything to see her again. And I really love that a lot. Oh my god. This perspective made their relationship stronger. In the book, I didn't quite get that. Granted that the letters were lost and they missed each other, but in the book they had more of a strong friendship more than like a romantic relationship. The reason for me in the book that the love between the two of them was believable is that first, we are in Alina's head and we know her emotions and what she thinks, and we know how she felt about Mal. The author did a good job with her descriptions, the way she was describing Mal's feelings and his actions, because when they reunited again, he has changed. It showed that, okay, he realizes that he actually does love her and he does really care for her more than just friendship. And the fact that he was looking for her and he found her and he became a deserter, traitor to the country, that shows love. It's so funny because like in the book, I loved Alina and the Darklings relationship much more than Alina and Mal's relationship. And in the show, I like Mal and Alina's relationship more than Alina and Darkling's relationship. Alina and the Darkling. In the show, I wasn't really buying their relationship. I'm sorry. It felt so awkward and just weird. The Darkling was being too much of that. The Darkling. Like, he was just so dark and mysterious. He barely showed any emotion just when he was upset, I feel. In the book, the Darkling was still dark and mysterious. He was still human. There were times that he'll be taken off guard with Alina, treating her like she is a different girl that he has never like met before. Although that was a tactic of his. Alina will make him laugh. In the book, there were times that he doesn't always know everything and he does make mistakes. When he was with Alina, he opened up in some ways. He wasn't just so formal all the time. There were times that his guard was let down a little bit. And I like that. You know, over here, we don't like one-dimensional villains, okay? We like humanized villains. In the book, the Darkling in some ways was a humanized villain, although he was still a POS, manipulative scumbag. In the book, when she starts to fall for him and they have their little makeout session, it was believable because, I mean, why wouldn't anyone be attracted to the Darkling in the book? The show, we knew right away that he was the villain. TV shows and movies do that. Like, there is a clear love interest, there's a clear villain, there's a clear mentor, clear hero, you know? But I feel like he played the villain up very heavily. I guess that was the director's choice to do that. It added on to their love relationship not feeling believable. It was just so easy. It was like, no, go for Mal. Why go for this dude? He's trying to use you. He's evil. But in the book, it kind of snuck up on you, you know, kind of sneaked in there. It was like, he's evil. And it's like, no, why? I love them both, you know? Episode 7, they did try to humanize the Darkling, but I just feel like that helped show the audience his motivation of why he's doing what he's doing. Point is, I just felt like in the show, they should have played up the Darkling's charming qualities more. The Stag. Morozov created 4 amplifiers. One of it is the Stag. Alina knows about the Stag myth because, I mean, everyone knows about the Stag myth. They learned it as children. In the show, they made it seem like she knew of the truth about the Stag and that she knew what the antlers could do, and she knew about amplifiers already. I just felt it was kind of corny how she came to know about the stag and researched about it. She was dreaming about the stag, and she wrote to Mal saying, I'm having dreams about the stag again. And it's like, okay. It was random. It was like all of a sudden the stag just pops up. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all how that was done. And then because she was seeing it in her dreams, that's when she goes researches about it. And then the weird pope, or the weird priest guy explains to her. But I like how the book does it. I even tells her about amplifiers because he has one. He tells her what an amplifier is. Number 2, it makes sense that because she was struggling with her power, that the Darkling suggests that she get an amplifier, because it just made sense. It's like the amplifier will help you summon your power. And then he tells her about the stag. Like that felt more organic and just felt more believable. But this thing that the show was doing, trying to make it seem like the stag was calling to her by coming into her dreams. The stag was using some type of special magic to enter her dreams. She all of a sudden connects the dots and knows that she has to go get the antlers to amplify her powers. Like I did not like it at all. They should have kept how the book did it. Like it was just fine that way. I don't know why they did that. The shadow fold. In the book, the impression I had of the fold was that it was a character in it of itself. It was a scary, terrifying thing that no one could beat. Literally, if you went into the fold, you were dead. It was a suicide mission. The only way to the other side of the fold was to travel around it through enemy territory. The fold to me is an antagonist, and it's a symbol. It's a terrorizing being, and it represents the people in the world's fears and hopelessness. Like we see in the show, a lot of the citizens will do very bad things to try and survive in this world. In the book, we later find out that the Volcra were actually citizens, were actually people that got caught up in the fold and turned into Volcra. Being caught up in the fold literally means you lose yourself and you become something dark and fearful. But in the show, the fold wasn't as terrifying as it was described in the book. It felt like it was a spectacle that was just part of the landscape of Ravka. It felt more like it was a challenge to get through, like you're traveling through a mountain pass to get to another country or another city. When they first traveled through the shadow fold in the beginning, there was a character named Alexei. And he literally, like when the Volcra starts to attack, he literally hops out of the boat. He jumps out of the boat and starts running. And I'm like, wait, what? And this was before Alina showed her power. So my thing is, how was he able to see where he was going? Then he makes it to the other side of the fold into West Ravka on foot. Not touched or killed by the Volcra. Okay. Let's say that Alina's light did light his way, because when he jumped out, she didn't use her power, but she does use her power a few minutes after he jumped out. So let's say her power did light his way through the fold. My thing is, how big or how deep is the fold from East Ravka to West Ravka? Because literally they're on the boat, and a few minutes later the Volcra starts to attack. I don't think they got to the middle of the fold or were close to the other side of the fold. It was like close to the beginning. So my thing is, I don't feel like her light lasted that long for him to be able to cross over to the other side of the fold into West Ravka on foot and unscathed. Like, I just feel like that downplayed the fold. How I really would like to know how wide the fold is from East Ravka to West Ravka. That did not make any sense to me. And another thing, the fact that people could travel through the fold on a train, Like, what? A whole train. In my opinion, if you can travel through the fold on a train and all you need is a gun to shoot at the Volcra or to kill the Volcra, my thing is, why do they need a sun summoner? They literally could make a more sufficient train. I don't know why they added that. I mean, actually, I do know why they added that, because the Kaz Gang had to figure out a way to get from West Ravka to East Ravka. And I feel like if they made them travel through enemy lines to East Ravka, it probably would have taken much longer and it would have caused them more problems. So I think they just put that there to just make it easy for them to travel through. But I'm just kind of like, really? As a film slash TV show, it was really good. It was an amazing show. If I never read the book and I watched it like it is, it was great. But this show as an adaptation, I thought it was okay. It wasn't terrible. It was all right. The book was a great foundation for the show to build off of. Knowing that it's an adaptation from the original book, it was okay. Go ahead and like this video if you enjoyed it. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more videos about writing and books. Go ahead and click on the next video here. I will talk to you next time. Bye!